Live, KHOU 11 News at 10 starts now.
They need to get that guy out.
Firefighters rushed to save a worker as the flames moved in. Tonight, hear from the hero who pulled him to safety.
Grief and unanswered questions as the community remembered a murdered teenager tonight.
And see how HPD officers are going undercover to catch drivers behaving badly.
But we are beginning with that massive fire that brought down an apartment complex that was under construction near downtown Houston.
Close to 200 firefighters spent hours battling the flames, but in the end, most of the 396 apartments were destroyed. This is a live look from our tower cam tonight at the scene on Montrose in West Dallas near downtown.
The fire department still has several streets blocked off around that building, and the water is still flowing as they try to put out the hot spots. Our Rux Russell is there live with the very latest. Rux?
Hey guys, you know what? I want to step out of the way because we've noticed some activity behind us. That is some construction equipment. It looks like they're starting to take down portions of the building that remained very unstable because of all of that fire damage. You know, I asked officials, they couldn't recall the last time there was a 5-alarm fire here in Houston, so this was a very rare and at times frightening event in a crowded neighborhood in the middle of the afternoon. A raging wall of intense flames, sending a column of black smoke billowing into the air like a volcanic plume. This was the scene at West Dallas and Montrose as fire enveloped a brand new apartment complex under construction.
It's spreading like crazy. You can still see the flames going. They're crazy.
Crazy to witnesses like Jerry. Frightening to people who saw this. A trapped construction worker leaping from a ledge before being plucked to safety by a firefighter on a ladder.
Thank God. That was crazy.
Ruben Hernandez was across the street when it happened.
And there were people screaming and yelling to rescue him. I mean, it didn't seem real. I've never experienced that before.
But imagine being inside the building when the wind-fed flames began to spread. This picture shows what the fire was like just after it started. Within minutes, it had become an inferno that would eventually climb to 5 alarms. Raul Hernandez was working inside when the fire broke out.
But then finally I just decided to come down because everybody was hollering, yelling and screaming, asking us to come down. So.
How lucky do you feel that you got out?
Well, I don't feel lucky, I feel blessed.
And so should this man, rescued, say officials, just in time.
If any more seconds would have been delayed, there's a possibility it wouldn't have been a rescue, and there's a huge possibility of either great injury or even a fatality.
But no one was killed, no one was hurt, and what was once a massive fire is now the scene of a major investigation. And that investigation just getting underway, complicated, of course, by the structural integrity or lack thereof of these buildings behind me. Officials tell me that arson investigators are also on the scene out here. That is standard procedure. Still no word, of course, on what caused this blaze. I'm reporting live in Montrose tonight. Rux Russell, KHOU 11 News.
Thank you, Rux. Many people are still talking about that daring rescue of the construction worker before flames tore through the building. Here's a look at those dramatic moments from the people who saw the drama unfold right before them.
He popped out of those doors, and I was like, oh my God, there's a guy up there.
They can't see him. They can't see him. They can't see him. He's waving. Oh my God.
That fire is an inferno.
There were people screaming and yelling to rescue him. I mean, it didn't seem real. I've never experienced that before.
They need to get that guy out.
The man is on the second balcony right there. It looks like the fire folks are trying to get him right now.
Did he just jump? No. He has to. He has to. He has to just jump.
Oh, they're bringing in the ladder.
At that moment, the wind kicked up, and he panicked. He was, I'm sure, very hot. So he jumped down from that top-story balcony to the one underneath him.
If I can feel it right here, he can feel it. Oh my gosh.
So he literally hung off of that balcony, swung his lower feet, and let go.
Good job, everybody.
It was too hot up there for him.
At that point, the ladder crew was rescued him.
Oh, I hope they got him off. Oh, they did. Look, he's up there. He's on the ladder. He's safe. He's safe. Oh, thank God.
After that, you know, the whole building started falling apart.
Oh my gosh, there goes the roof. It's collapsing. Heads up below. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Incredible to watch that rescue. Let's go now to Tim Wetzel, who's live with the firefighter who was at the end of that ladder to pull the worker to safety. Tim?
Yeah, hey guys, Captain Brad Hawthorne has been with the department for 25 years, and this will be a day certainly you will not forget. Can you walk me through what happened this afternoon?
Well, we arrived and Chief told us there was 3 guys on the roof, and we set the ladder up to the roof, and as we was getting up to the roof, he popped out on the little balcony on the 5th floor, and my chauffeur Dwayne here, he saw him when he started moving the ladder, get him over to get him lined up, and he got the ladder. You know, he jumped from the 5th to the 4th floor, and we picked him off the 4th floor. He got it close enough to the ladder, and he was able to jump to the ladder actually a couple of feet.
And you said just as he jumped on the ladder, the roof collapsed. So you were in the right place at the right time. What's it like to save someone's life like that?
It was pretty amazing. But we train a lot for, situations. But when it all kind of ties together with just timing and everything, it really pays off.
And you said he actually talked to you when he got on that ladder. What did he say?
He said, "Thank you, Jesus."
All right, well, thank God you were there, and good work to you guys. Thank you so much. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Tim, thanks, and our thanks to the firefighters as well. And our thanks to so many of you who shared your pictures and videos today. Besides the ones that you've seen on the air, you'll find many more of these incredible images online at KHOU.com and our KHOU Facebook page.
Now to the emotional gathering tonight in Pearland as friends and family struggle to understand who would murder a teenage girl loved by so many. Drew Caritas has the story.
We thank you, Lord, for the 16 years that you allowed Ariana to be a part of our lives.
Prayers sweeping through a sea of people.
We pray that you would open the detectives' eyes that whatever they're missing,
which would explain to this crowd the biggest question of why.
Remind us, Lord, that your word declares that earth has no sorrow that heaven cannot heal.
For now, they wait for justice in the unexplained murder of 16-year-old Ariana Hill. This community has been rocked since the news surfaced on Friday that Hill's body had been discovered inside a home in an upscale guard-gated community on East Cedar Hollow Drive.
It is not an easy task. We don't have any answers. The biggest question is why.
Parents have been trying to console their children, which has been difficult, with speculation on social media as to what could have happened to the popular student at Dawson High.
It's all a mystery to everybody. Nobody knows the reason why. We're all puzzled to this day, but we pray that justice will be done.
Teammates from the track and volleyball teams remembering a dear friend who was always there. Classmates say Ariana was liked by all.
No one could ever dislike her. She has the most beautiful heart.
They struggle to find words for the person who took her.
I just hope they catch her. How could they do this to her?
But with their anger aside and faith in the foreground, this community let go of the uncertainty, releasing pink and purple balloons for the girl already missed by so many people.
And we're told it was a female resident who discovered Ariana's body and dialed 911. Police still have not identified who that 911 caller is. The 16-year-old leaves behind her parents and 2 brothers. They were here tonight, leaning on each other and the church community for support. We're live in Pearland tonight. Drew Caritas, KHOU 11 News.
All right, Drew, thanks. And now to an I-Team investigation at a local college campus.
That's where one student claims a teacher made a critical mistake that cost a class good grades.
And Courtney Zawowski went to find out more.
It was while studying a science where objects grow larger under the lens that A student Lauren Furman had a problem with something that kept getting smaller.
I was getting 40s on every test.
Her grades in Intro to Chemistry.
I studied as hard as I could, did everything in my power to try to change my grade.
At Lone Star College, University Park, where all semester she kept getting D's and even F's. But then her teacher, Tal Shirley Wynn, pictured here, admitted something.
She told us her mistake in class to all the students.
Just before giving them their final exam.
And what was her mistake? She was teaching general chemistry, another course, all semester.
Teaching them not a beginning class, but an advanced course in chemistry. But Furman says Wynn also had a solution. She would add extra credit to their grades. Furman says that boosted her F to a B, but wouldn't help her keep her straight A average.
4.0 students were really stressed out altogether, but this just added to it to see what I've been working for 2 years be destroyed.
So we went to talk with Ms. Wynn.
Did you tell the students that you taught the wrong class?
Comments. With her at Houston Community College, where she also teaches.
You taught the wrong class? Comments. Can you say, because it's the students who are wondering what's going on. No comment. You can't comment at all.
So we went to the administration.
She followed the syllabus and taught from the 1405 textbook.
He's John Powell with Lone Star University Park.
Students are claiming that the teacher in the class told them point blank, I taught the wrong class.
I wasn't there, and we weren't there, you weren't there. I can't comment on what someone may have said in class.
But take a look at this. An email reply to a complaining student, Furman, from the college's head of the science department, saying this was not intentional on Miss Wynn's part. She was new to the introductory level. Lone Star's comment?
They were taught the right class.
So we asked about the possibility of an investigation.
As a rule, we don't do investigations of classes.
I'm asking about a formal investigation by a college after a teacher allegedly told students that she taught the wrong class.
No, I would not do a formal investigation, no.
Now, another Lone Star student told us that Wynn admitted to teaching an advanced course, but also said that she still signed up for another class with the teacher. As for Lauren Furman, she appealed her B grade in the course, but Lone Star ruled against it. Courtney Zabowski, KHOU 11 News.
Drivers beware. Hear how Houston police are going undercover to make the roads safer for cyclists. Next.
There is good news tonight about the wildlife caught up in the weekend oil spill.
And why a school is punishing a young girl for showing support for a sick friend.
Winds are out of the north today. They're going to shift to the south. It's going to be gusty by tomorrow afternoon. This also means rain chances are coming in. We'll plan tomorrow's commute and talk about the severe threat for Thursday coming up.
Watch out on the roads. The next HPD officer you see may not be in a cruiser or even in uniform. Police are now working undercover on two wheels to catch drivers breaking the rules of the road. Our Doug Miller has the story only on KHOU 11 News.
My name is Stephen Klein.
On a bicycle he bought at a garage sale for $45, Stephen Klein gets around Houston.
You almost get to slow down and stop and smell the roses. Like, I get to see things that I'd never thought I'd see before.
But one thing he never imagined he'd see were drivers trying to run him off the road.
You stay to the right and you'll have motorists that'll come by and they'll rev their engine real loud, or they'll honk, or they'll try to get as close as they can just to let you know that you shouldn't feel comfortable on the road.
A bicyclist will tell you it happens all the time in Houston, even though it's against the law.
Maintain a separation of no less than 3 feet when passing a cyclist.
See, in Houston, drivers are supposed to stay 3 feet away when they're passing bike riders. Now Houston police have adopted an unorthodox enforcement tactic.
So many drivers are disobeying the distance rules on bicycles. Houston police officers are actually going undercover, trying to catch motorists who don't give bicyclists enough room.
What that simply means is that there are officers out there on bicycles, dressed as normal citizens, who are just riding around town. There's somebody watching them to see if people are encroaching upon them.
And they've done this for about 3 weeks now in high bike traffic areas like downtown and the Washington corridor. So far, though, they've handed out only 3 citations.
I love it.
Still, bicyclists like Stephen Klein are glad to hear about it.
I think it's a good idea because, that's our big complaint for all the cyclists.
As for drivers, well, just beware. That cyclist pedaling down the street just may be an undercover cop. Doug Miller, KHOU 11 News.
The oil that slipped into the Houston Ship Channel Saturday has mostly moved out into the Gulf, but forecasters say a change in wind direction could send it back towards land closer to Matagorda County and Port Lavaca later this week. The Coast Guard reopened the Ship Channel today, but with more than 100 vessels waiting to leave or enter, it could take days to clear that backlog. And then there's the cleanup. Some of the 170,000 gallons of oil that spilled now blackens the coastline.
As with any oil spill, there is a risk to wildlife, but we're happy to say, at least at first glance, this one appears to have caused minimal damage. A wildlife rehab facility in Baytown says it knows of 8 birds that have died and 8 more that were brought in to be rehabilitated.
I suspect we'll get more in. However, I think we're doing pretty good so far. I'm not seeing as many as I suspected to see.
The birds at that facility will undergo a thorough cleaning and should be released back into the wild in just a couple of weeks.
A little bit of good news there. Glad to hear it. All right, David Paul, let's talk about some changes to the forecast.
Yeah, not only is the wind going to change directions on us tomorrow, but also rain chances are going to begin to work their way into the forecast tomorrow. In fact, maybe even as early as tomorrow morning's commute. So changes are on the way after today's gusty north wind, which helped to fuel this big fire. Winds turn out of the south and east. Onshore wind at 15 to 20 miles an hour, maybe more gusty than that near the coast. This will churn up the seas. It makes collecting the oil more difficult for the booms and the boats that are pulling those buoys trying to pick it up. But the more the water actually churns up, that's Mother Nature's way of kind of taking care of some of that oil as well. I'm very glad to hear that reports coming in are showing that it's not as bad as it could have been. Rain chance tomorrow increases, and then there is a severe threat, a slight severe threat on Thursday, mainly north of I-10. Hail, wind, even an isolated tornado may be possible in some of the isolated severe cells on Thursday. More on that in a minute. Here's tomorrow morning's numbers. 50 in the morning with a 20% rain chance for the morning commute. It's a 40% rain chance by lunchtime. 40% rain chance lasts through the afternoon. High temp goes to the mid-60s. Here's the storm system, and in fact you can see the clouds beginning to billow right here out ahead of that storm system. It's coming our way. That's what will be giving us the rain chance. Future track gives us a slight rain chance on the north and west side, even maybe into Houston and Tomball by 7 a.m. in the morning, and then by lunchtime it pushes a batch of rain into Houston, so your lunch hour may be a little bit wet and slow. Tomball to Sugar Land down to Wharton down the 59 corridor may see some of the heavier stuff tomorrow, and then it wants to push east, and we may end up getting a little break for your evening commute and evening activities and practices and such tomorrow. But not so on Thursday. And notice the isolated nature of these showers. See how they're kind of they're very discreet, and that's when we could see isolated severe cells. And some of these north and especially north and east of the area could see those severe limits reached. Maybe hail, maybe an isolated tornado. So we're going to be on weather watch as we go through the afternoon on Thursday. More coverage Thursday afternoon. Your afternoon and evening activities Thursday don't look good weather-wise. You may want to plan ahead. Spring's 56, Galveston's at 59. It's nice and cool out there. Here's how those winds are going to shift to the south and east, and they will be gusty coming off the Gulf for the next couple of days. In the morning, cloudy, slight rain chance, upper 40s north side. Lows near 50 as you get up on the south side, so a light jacket in the morning, and toss an umbrella in the car with you. You'll need it off and on Wednesday, and I think you're really going to need it Thursday. And again, Thursday is a good day to follow us here. Also, Facebook and Twitter will keep you posted through the day. We clear out Friday, 83, and then I think the weekend's looking pretty good. We need the rain, but we're in springtime, and it's spring storm season, so we'll be watching the weather carefully Thursday.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. Now, for the latest on that massive mudslide in Washington State, this is an image of how the land looked before the slide.
And here's after. Look at it now. That is more than a square mile of land that slid down the hill and buried dozens of houses. Search crews found 2 more bodies today, and sadly, they say that number will grow.
176 people are still unaccounted for. Terry Okita has the latest on the search.
2 more bodies were recovered from the mud and debris where a mudslide tore through a small Washington State town. And authorities say there is more grim work ahead.
We've located another 8 fatalities. However, we have not recovered those at this time.
Scores of people remain missing, but exactly how many is not yet known. Restored electricity and internet service to nearby Darrington are helping families reconnect with loved ones, but that's not slowing down the search.
We're going at this hard to get everybody that's out there that's missing.
But it's not just professional rescue crews who are out searching. Dozens of volunteers showed up this morning at the fire department, eager to help out any way they could. That's because this isn't a community of strangers.
Up and over the creek, up and over the first part of debris, and bam, there was the first body.
To Aaron Bright, it's family. He's out there looking for his cousin, Summer Raffo. She was driving through Oso, Washington, when the hillside gave way. He says everywhere he looks, there's heartache.
Hardest part is to see kids out there digging up their parents.
He's also comforting his aunt, Ray Smith. She says she doesn't think her daughter, Summer, survived.
I'm waiting for someone to tell me they found my daughter.
And she says she'll keep waiting.
Terry Okita, KHOU 11 News.
Up next, hear why the search for Flight 370 was suspended today.
bad weather has forced officials to suspend the search for debris from Flight 370.
The storms are so strong in the search zone, some ships were blown 100 miles off course. Authorities say before the storm, they thought they were close to objects seen from the sky yesterday, but now it's hard to say.
It's very easy to speculate about being close. Close in this part of the world could be several hundred kilometres.
We're not searching for a needle in a haystack. We're still trying to define where the haystack is.
The search is likely to resume tomorrow. South Korea is the latest country to join the international effort.
Coming up, it's a top 15 matchup in college baseball as Rice takes on the University of Houston.
Plus, why a young girl is being punished for shaving her head for a friend fighting cancer.
KHOU-11 Sports Director Bob Allen.
Well, normally we don't lead the sportscast with college baseball, but here in Houston we've got the 11th ranked team in the nation and Rice and the 14th ranked team in the University of Houston, and they played each other tonight over at Cougar Field. Rice batting in the top of the first inning. Shane Holscher drives the ball to center field. Skylar Ewing comes home to make it 2-0 Owls after a half inning. But in the bottom of the first inning, Josh Vidalis slices the ball into left field. That brings home 2 runs. Cougars take a 3-2 lead. Then Jordan Stading comes to the plate, delivers the single up the middle, 2 more score. Cougars go on to win at 6-2, brings the silver glove back to the University of Houston. And today, Texas beat Texas State 5-1. Longhorns coach Augie Garrido becomes the winningest coach in college baseball history, 1,894 wins. Wow, great body of work. Astros open up the new season a week from tonight with the Yankees coming to town for 3 games. Payroll figures announced today. Once again, Astros with the lowest payroll in the majors, $45 million. That's up, though, $18 million from last year. Yankees have had the highest payroll for the last 15 years until now. Dodgers now have that, $235 million. Yankees are second, $204 million. Sad news about one of the nicest people and best athletes to ever come through Houston. Football Hall of Famer Jim Kelly has had a recurrence of the jaw cancer he was treated for last year, and his wife says it's aggressive and it's spreading. This is a recent photo of Kelly's daughter that Kelly's daughter tweeted from the hospital saying her dad was being his usual strong self. He's scheduled to undergo more surgery on Thursday in New York City. Kelly's first year in pro football with the USFL Houston Gamblers in 1984, where he ran one of the most prolific, fun offenses to watch, the run and shoot. Jack Pardee, head coach of the Gamblers then. When the league folded, he joined the Buffalo Bills, where he led the team to 4 straight Super Bowls without winning one. He is one of the really good guys in sports. And this news comes on the day that Bills owner Ralph Wilson passed away at age 95. Wilson, along with Bud Adams, among the founders of the American Football League. And Rice has hired a new basketball coach to replace Ken Braun. 40-year-old Michael Rhodes comes here after being an assistant at Virginia Commonwealth the last 3 years. For the 10 years preceding that, he was the head coach at Division III Randolph-Macon, where he finished 197-97. Not to overstate things, but the man's got a lot of work ahead of him over on South Main.
If Dayton and Mercer can do it, why not Rice?
Yes, they can. I'm done.
Okay,
I'm done.
they were making sure.
Yeah? Okay.
Thanks, Bob.
I'm finished.
All right, up next, how a little girl's show of support lands her in trouble at school.
Be the first to know when big news breaks. Follow KHOU-11 News on Twitter.
An Oregon girl's good deed has led to some bad publicity for her elementary school.
9-year-old Cameron shaved her head to support her best friend Delaney as she battles cancer. But the school took one look at Cameron's bald head yesterday, and you know what they did? They kicked her out of class, saying the look violates school policy.
Apparently, it is against the rules for girls to voluntarily have no hair. Even so, the friends have no regrets.
I just want to say thank you for being a really good friend and actually being brave enough to do it.
I did it so she didn't have to feel left out.
As you can imagine, the school took a lot of heat for that decision yesterday. Tonight, well, they held a special session and voted to make an exception for Cameron so she can return to class.
Good.
Man. Gotta give that girl an A.
Right? Yeah.
Big heart.
What were they thinking? Give that girl an A.
Yes. Glad they had a change of heart.
Right.
That's it for us, guys, but our coverage continues online and on KHOU 11 News this morning. We'll have the latest information from the scene of that massive fire in Montrose. Check in with Ron, Lily, Cheetah, and Catherine starting at 4:30 a.m.
That does it for us. Have a great night. Late Show's coming up next. We'll see you tomorrow. Sleep tight.